NORAD is tracking Santa, and 11 News is right there with them, providing you with updates throughout the newscast. Tragedy strikes just days before Christmas, how you can help a family that lost nearly everything. Plus, a new tradition taking flight at Denver International Airport, looking out for those that serve our country. All this and more on 11 News at 10.
Now, with 11 minutes of non-stop news and your no-wait weather, KKTV 11 News at 10.
Well, Christmas 2 hours away and Hanukkah is underway. Good evening, I'm Tony Keith, filling in for Lisa Chin. Thanks for joining us this Christmas Eve. And with Christmas nearly here, some shoppers are still out getting those last-minute gifts. 11 News reporter Dustin Cusick was out there talking to the shoppers. He joins us back in studio. And Dustin, got to know, how are the crowds out there?
Well, those few stores that are still open this late, it was actually pretty busy, but shoppers I talked to say that the real crowds were out earlier today. Now, as far as why they were out shopping tonight, the answers were all over the place. Some were doing last-minute Christmas gift shopping. Some were grabbing those household necessities that they'd forgotten, since even fewer stores will be open tomorrow. Now, some thought that they had done their shopping plenty early, but were super frustrated when they found they ran out of things like wrapping paper and had to head back out into the crowds to grab it. Now, whatever the reason, they told me that they were just glad that there was somewhere open, no matter how bad the crowds are.
I typically procrastinate. It's pretty bad usually. I just hate crowds, so I hate getting out there when everyone else is trying to do that kind of stuff.
You know, I was expecting it to be crazy, but it actually was pretty calm.
Now, if you're like me and you still have some last-minute Christmas shopping to do, those Targets, the Super Targets here in town, are going to be open until 11 o'clock, and the Target on Cheyenne Boulevard. If you're out of Colorado Springs or you're past that hour, the 24-hour Walgreens, most of those are still open normal hours today and tomorrow as well. Back to you.
Thank you, Dustin. Still got some shopping to do. Well, this is happening right now. One man that doesn't have to fight the crowds and lines. Let's check in with Santa and his reindeer. So far, Santa has delivered more than 5 billion presents, 5.47 billion. He was in the U.S., but now it looks like he's heading to Belize in a little bit. So we're going to keep tracking him throughout the show. I recommend, though, getting to bed right after the newscast because he's expected to be here in Colorado at about midnight. Well, 11 News visited NORAD today, which has taken on the task of tracking Santa for more than 6 decades now. Happening now, the North American Aerospace Command Center is located here in Colorado Springs. This is the 14th year that Verizon employees have stepped up to help keep tabs on St. Nick for Christmas Eve.
For the 23-hour period, we started at 4 a.m. December 24th until 3 a.m. Christmas Day, and we have over 1,500 volunteers throughout the course of 23 hours.
We, of course, will be keeping you up to date with where Santa is. As I mentioned, he's expected to be in Colorado incredibly soon. Well, many of you are looking forward to your Christmas Day dinner. Well, for too many others, they don't know when or how they'll get their next meal. More than 200 volunteers took time out of their own holiday celebrations to help others to a feast today. The event has been taking place for a decade, put on by the Springs Rescue Mission, the first time at this new location. Their motto, neighbors helping neighbors, and what better way to get into the Christmas spirit?
What brings me out here today is the Christmas spirit. Everybody's got to have a Christmas spirit. If they love the Lord, there's a reason why he was born. It's because of this day.
More than 1,000 people were served at the event today. Well, 'tis the season for holiday travel, but this isn't the type of white Christmas many travelers had hoped for. According to AAA, more than 103 million Americans are expected to travel in the next 10 days. People across the Northwest and Midwest are bracing for more travel headaches. Heavy snow and freezing rain are expected to slow down the many people planning to take advantage of the low gas prices.
We are projecting that the busiest times to travel are going to be the first few days before the holiday season and those first few days after. And so we encourage drivers, whenever they leave, try to leave early in the morning. And if at all possible, try to avoid driving through major cities during peak travel times. Try to travel on the holiday if you can.
And so far, more than 450 flights have been canceled today. That's according to flightware.com. Well, many men and women serving our country are hoping to make it home in time for Christmas. Maybe you've seen this table at the Denver International Airport. If you pass through today, people pass by as they get off the tram at the DIA terminal. A setup for those service members coming to Colorado. The group Boots 66 was formed to honor fallen soldiers for the Centennial State. Today, they were providing service members with food if they needed a meal, or a ride if they needed help getting home.
It's the right thing to do for these guys. They're the warriors out there right now, and we have to support them.
I was spit on when I came home from Vietnam, and I thought, you know, I'm never going to have this happen to any of the veterans today.
Now, this was the second year Boots 66 has been offering these services on the day before Thanksgiving and Christmas. Well, police across the country are on high alert this Christmas Eve after ISIS called for attacks against churches in the United States. Following the latest terror attack in Berlin, the FBI and Department of Homeland Security sent a bulletin to law enforcement agencies to warn of vigilance against lone wolf attacks.
One of the most significant threats facing this country today comes from people who are inspired by terrorist ideologies but operate independent of a terrorist organization.
Well, the bulletin goes on to say that historically, ISIS lists like the one naming churches have never resulted in a successful terror attack. 11 minutes of non-stop news continues with this. Concealed carry permits are on the rise in El Paso County. Our partners at the Gazette are reporting the El Paso County Sheriff's Office saw the number spike after last year's Halloween shooting and Planned Parenthood shooting. 6 people were left dead from both of those incidents. To get a permit, applicants must be 21 years old, pass a background check, and prove they've received firearm training. Well, 2 people are continuing to try and outrun the law. The duo are suspects in a bank robbery that happened yesterday. This was just before 5 at the A&B Bank on North Academy in Flint Ridge here in Colorado Springs. Police described the 2 as white men wearing ski masks. They jumped over the counter and then took off with an undisclosed amount of cash. They then fled in a blue vehicle. If you know anything about this crime, please contact Crime Stoppers in the Springs at 634-STOP. And one local family is without a home this Christmas Eve. A fire destroyed a house in Peyton, all of their belongings and their Christmas gifts. Firefighters doing more than just battling the blaze.
Peyton Fire Department actually had some donated toys and stuff that they brought for us. There was Falcon and Ellicott are also working on getting gifts for the boys so that they'll have Christmas.
Well, the good news, no one was injured in the fire. That includes the family's cats. They had escaped through a doggy door and were in the garage hiding. It's not just the firefighters helping out. You can help too. To make a donation to their GoFundMe page, hit up KKTV.com and click on the red Find It tab. Well, before we dive into a look at weather, let's check in with Chris Kringle. Well, Santa currently looks like he's hit land again, and right now head towards Nicaragua. Going to be there in 2 minutes and 40 seconds, and he hit the 5.5 billion mark when it comes to gifts. We'll check in a little bit later as he makes his way towards Colorado and back towards the U.S. To our no-wait weather, I'm sure Santa is using Jessica LaBelle's forecast to help him guide him tonight. And Jess, what's Santa going to be dealing with?
Well, he is going to be seeing hopefully dry conditions if he gets here by midnight. But after midnight, yeah, he's going to be dealing with a little bit of shower activity. So let's get you to your hour-by-hour forecast. You can see a lot of cloud cover building in by 12:30. Some snow beginning down in West Cliff and parts of Custer County. And then if we put this into motion, there comes the showers for the I-25 corridor. Now you can see snow showers mainly in Teller County, northern El Paso County up along the Palmer Divide, and rain showers for some like down in Pueblo are possible at that time. So this is 2 o'clock in the morning. These showers are going to move through pretty quickly. We still have a shot though at 5 o'clock in the morning. So if you are heading somewhere pretty early, maybe north of Colorado Springs, you might be dealing with a shower or two. By 6 o'clock though, just some cloud cover left over. If we take this to a little bit of a wider view, the southeastern plains in the morning will be dealing with some rain showers. You could see some pockets of heavier rain. Even some rumbles of thunder are possible, but you can see these storms clear off to our east pretty quickly, and we're going to be staying dry for the rest of our Christmas day. So this is only going to impact us overnight tonight. If you're going to midnight mass, just be aware that as you're leaving, there might be a couple of showers, and we're not expecting any huge accumulations from this storm. So we could see anywhere from nothing up to an inch at the most up in Black Forest, Monument, even over into Woodland Park here in Colorado Springs. A dusting is possible, but we are going to be warming up with sunshine tomorrow afternoon, and that's going to melt that away pretty quickly. Pueblo and across Highway 50, you're mainly going to be seeing rain showers if you do see anything, but south and west of Pueblo in those higher elevations, we could see a couple of inches of snow. Here across the Pikes Peak region, a high temperature of 42 degrees in Colorado Springs. We'll see 45 down in Fountain. Right around 41 up in Peyton tomorrow, Palmer Lake at 36, and a nice 34 degrees in Woodland Park. Sunny skies, but very strong winds tomorrow afternoon here in the Pikes Peak region. Pueblo, 49 for your high tomorrow. We'll see right around 48 for Penrose. Westcliff at 43 degrees, and Canyon City coming in at 47. Taking it south, keeping the sunshine for the southern I-25 corridor. Temperatures in those lower 40s in the southeastern plains, in the upper 40s, and some reaching the 50s with plenty of sunshine. So yeah, it's really the winds that are going to be the biggest impacts tomorrow. So you won't want to ride your motorcycles or drive any high profile vehicles, especially if you're heading towards the southern I-25 corridor. We could see some gusts of 60 miles an hour. So bring your fragile decor inside. Colorado Springs is going to be drying out for Monday, 38 degrees. So it will be chilly that day. And then as we head into the rest of our work week, we're going to be warming up gradually up to 50 degrees by Wednesday and staying dry for the rest of the week. Pueblo, you're going to be seeing a high temperature tomorrow, right around 49 degrees. You could see a rain shower overnight tonight, but for tomorrow, you're going to be drying it out and seeing some very gusty winds up to 53 degrees by Tuesday. Let's check out Canyon City. We're going to be seeing possibly an early morning snow shower, but drying out by about mid-morning tomorrow. In Woodland Park, same for you, drying out tomorrow mid-morning. Temperatures around 34 degrees, and on Monday, only at 30. Back to you, Anthony.
Thanks, Jess. Looks like a beautiful way to end 2016. Well, Trump is making another move to put parts of his business behind him as he looks ahead to the White House. Coming up, find out what the Democratic National Committee has to say about the president-elect dissolving the Trump Foundation. But first, he's made a list and he's checked it twice, but Santa can't get through all of your Christmas letters by himself. Our cameras take you into the North Pole right here in Colorado. We'll be right back. Thousands of Christmas wish lists are sent to the North Pole right here in Colorado. Coming up in 60 seconds, an inside look at how the operation works. As Santa flies through the skies tonight, he knows what he's got on board his sleigh because he gets millions of letters each year. Thousands of them from all over the world are sent to the North Pole right here in our own backyard, Cascade, Colorado. 11 News reporter Lisa Chin made a visit and shares this story.
As the list and letters pour in, Santa and his helpers here at the North Pole get right to work with those requests.
Lots of pets, cats and dogs, see lots of drones this year, video games, but I also had a pig and a turkey.
Carol has been helping Santa for a long time. She says this year, some kids had trouble deciding if they've been bad or good.
She starts off with, this year I've been very good, if you can forgive me for some things.
But good or bad, there's usually always a wish for Santa. And they aren't always filled with drones and turkeys. Sometimes they tug at the heartstrings and remind us of the Christmas spirit.
The little guy really missed his mom and wanted mom back for Christmas. And that was, his whole letter was about having his mom back. So that one was really kind of gripping for me.
Every year, every child's letter from all over the world contains hope, inspiration, and the overall consensus in Santa they believe.
It always refreshes me to know that kids are still innocent as much as the world has changed.
Reporting from the North Pole, Elisa Chin, KKTV 11 News.
Well, something to keep in mind for next year. Carol says they read all of the letters, and Santa and his helpers also reply to each and every single letter they get all the way up until the week before Christmas. Well, right now we're continuing to track Santa, and he's currently in Southern America heading to the Galapagos National Park. That's in Ecuador. Should be there in about less than 3 minutes with 5.48 billion presents sent out. And of course, he's going to come back towards the States here soon. But moving on, President-elect Donald Trump is trying to avoid even the appearance of a conflict of interest. He's dissolving a well-known foundation, and the Democratic National Committee has their own take on the move. But first, here are tonight's winning Lotto, Powerball, and Cash 5 numbers.
KKTV and McDonald's would like to wish all our military members and their families a happy holiday season. To those who have served and those who continue to serve, here at home and abroad, thank you for your service. Happy holidays from all of us at KKTV and McDonald's.
Welcome on back. President-elect Donald Trump says he plans to dissolve his controversial foundation. He goes on to say the Trump Foundation has done good work contributing money to veterans, law enforcement, and children, but Trump says he still wants to dissolve it to avoid even the appearance of a conflict of interest. But the DNC is dismissing the move as a, quote, a wilted fig leaf to cover up his remaining conflicts of interest and his pitiful record of charitable giving. And Israel says it's reevaluating relations with the United Nations after the Security Council passed a resolution condemning Israeli settlements in the West Bank. The Prime Minister says Israel will immediately cancel contributions to 5 UN organizations, and he's promising that more steps will soon follow. Well, many people think Santa is a Chiefs fan because of the red and white. We all know that Santa is truly a Broncos fan, but no matter who you're rooting for, there's some devastating news for 2 teams and their quarterbacks. Taylor Kilgore has the injury updates and Christmas Eve highlights right after the break.
Here's a final look at your forecast this week in Colorado Springs. A high of 42 degrees for your Christmas. And yes, a couple of showers possible overnight. Only light accumulations possible in northern El Paso County, Teller County, and along the Palmer Divide. We're going to be at 38 degrees on Monday.
All right, before we go, as Santa is making his way across the country, NORAD continues to track his movement. Right now, it looks like he's in Little Rock, Arkansas. About an hour and a half away from Colorado is my guest. No confirmation on that. You can also follow along online, KKTV.com. I said it before, I got to say it again. Thank you to all those serving our community and our country tonight. Have a Merry Christmas and a Happy Hanukkah. That does it for us at 10.